So I am here with, of course, my dignity bonnets, because apparently black women who wear bonnets are not dignified. They don't have any pride in themselves. So we got to get into it, okay? Now let's talk about this Monique interview on Shannon Sharpe. Now there were a lot of bombs dropped, a lot of tea being served, and for me I had to take some notes. So where do we even start? Now it feels like to me there's a lot of truth telling, a lot of people being exposed, but also some accountability. Now the last couple episodes, Katt Williams, now Monique, they are owning their accountability. Some people might say Katt Williams not so much, but Monique, I do feel like she took a lot of accountability. Make sure my bond is straight. And it feels like to me, Hollywood, whether it's the black Hollywood, whether it's the white Hollywood, is built upon slavery. You have to kiss the ring, you gotta kiss the feet, you gotta be willing to stay in your place to get ahead. And that's what a lot of these interviews prove to me even more, is that there's just so many problematic people in Hollywood, gatekeepers holding black women back. And it sounds like a lot of that happened to Monique. Now, if a black woman is drowning, then it's like, oh, I see you drowning. But if we're thriving, oh, stay over there. We are not allowed to thrive. And some people might say Monique doesn't fit in that category because she's problematic. But to me, seeing this black woman kind of living her truth and go through the things that she went through, and Shannon Sharpe not being the best interviewer, it just shows how we need to stay in our place according to society. And Monique actually said that a little bit in her relationship, but I'm gonna go into that a little bit later. But looking back at my notes, some of the things I highlighted was that I feel like we are gaslit. We are given one thing, we are shown one thing, but then when it comes to these comedians in Hollywood, behind closed doors, they act a different way. And the comedy world to me feels like a very disorganized family. I'm gonna say one thing in person, but I'm gonna talk to you on the phone, give you some money, enlighten you, help you out. But when it comes to me publicly speaking about you, that's bad news. That's bad for my brand. And it seems like in Hollywood, a lot of our favorite comedians are really controlled and managed by people who don't look like us, who have a lot of control and a lot of power in the dynamics. And it just felt like hearing her talk about Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley, and so many others, it felt like a very dysfunctional family. And it's like, why don't you just get over it? Sweep it under the rug. And that's what we hear a lot in the black community when it comes to things we've been through, trauma, hurt, and pain. We hear that from family members, we hear that from friends. Just get over it. You know, it was only 25 million. Monique, if you just move on, we can all get along. And sometimes my pain is not worth the dollar. Sometimes it's worth more for me to hear that accountability, and what people are looking for in their own lives is accountability. And I think that's what Monique is looking for, is accountability. And so far, it feels like the only person who has given her that is Lee Daniels. Tyler Perry and Oprah continue to be problematic. They continue to not be willing to step out of the kingdom and come down here and address things in the black community, address the wrongs, the hurt, the pain, the coins that they have taken out of people's hands. And I really enjoyed how she went into the color purple, because I feel like that whole promo, we were gaslit. We were seeing one thing, the body language between Oprah and Taraji. We've seen Taraji crying. We've seen Danielle on stage comforting her. We've seen so many different things, yet Taraji comes out with this message praising Oprah. We also see the interview between her and Oprah on OWN Network. To me, I feel like I was gaslit. And people like to use that word when it comes to relationships, men, but women gaslit too. And I feel like we were really gaslit to believe, oh, it's nothing. Don't pay attention to the body language. I was cold. Don't worry about that. That's just in your minds. No, we saw it and we could feel the energy was different. And I think we need to talk more about how Hollywood, to me, feels like a slave ship. You gotta stay in your place, do what you are told. So what, you have accolades. I'm gonna knock you back down to show you need to stay in your place. And Monique is right. If you don't like the messenger, the message gets killed. Shoot the messenger, kill the message. And that's happened for so many years to her and so many other people. When they speak up, they disappear. Or if they speak up, oh, why is she saying that? Just like Shannon Sharpe, when she talked about the recording. Why you record that man? See? You're focusing on me recording and not what the message actually showed and said. And that's what we see oftentimes, is the messenger being murdered. Okay? Because they don't want the truth to come out. But this is only the beginning of more and more interviews I think that is going to come out on Shannon Sharpe, other platforms. People feel like they're living in their truth. And so a lot of the interviews, she really did have me. But it got to a point where she talked about women being in their place, the whole bonnet thing. That really started to lose me, because I feel like as Black women, we are always told to stay in our place. Let a man lead. And so hearing her, a woman with so many accolades on a platform, continue to just talk about how her man is the ultimate, everybody should have a man like him. If Tiffany had a man like him, she wouldn't be in the problems that she's having now. Is that really accurate? I think Tiffany is going through some depression. I think Tiffany committed from therapy. She's also had a lot of trauma. So to say that a man will save her or make her become a better woman, that rhetoric is tired. And I feel like there are so many podcasts of these men, and I'm sure the men are gonna pull that segment and have a great little a 3-hour podcast. See, even Monique is telling y'all to stay in y'all place, be raised. Okay. Now, as a strong Black woman, a phenomenally Black woman, ain't no man about to raise me. Okay, I did not get married to be raised. And I don't think that rhetoric should be spewed out there to millions, thousands of women watching that, younger generation. We're focused so much on the bonnet and why we shouldn't wear bonnets outside and how it becomes a costume, yet we're spilling and focusing on rhetoric about women getting married to men who become the end all be all, my savior, my king. And we've seen how different people have followed in that rhetoric and how they have been brought down, broken, and had to start all over. That to me is where she started to lose me. And not to mention, I feel like Shannon Sharpe was everywhere with these questions. When we got to something really good and juicy, here he go, well, tell me, how'd you get into comedy? No, let's stay on DL Hughley. Let's stay on that situation. Well, tell me how you got on the Parkers. I really need him to get some training, some media training on how to interview, because some of these interviews can be a lot better. Not to mention, it is extremely long, this interview. I got through most of it, okay? Now, Tyler Perry, I'm gonna have to do a whole separate thing on Tyler Perry being problematic, because that is multi-layered. And I see how if you don't kiss the ring, you will not get anywhere. And it's unfortunate that people have to kiss the ring, he claps, leave. You know when you turn on the light and the roaches go away? That's what it felt like. He flips on everybody leave the room, okay? And we don't talk enough about how problematic he is, and Oprah is problematic too. But I'm gonna do some separate stuff on Tyler Perry and do a little bit of a deep dive. But I really enjoyed how she brought up and discussed all the people who have caused her problems, all the problems that she has gone through, and why she won't let go of what has happened to her. And because we hear that so often, just get over it. Yeah, he touched you. Yeah, he did that to you, but that's your daddy, that's your uncle. That's Tyler Perry. That's Steve Harvey. Just get over it. So my pain is not worthy because you're telling me to get over it? I don't think so. We cannot allow people to control how we feel, the level of my pain, who I choose to give forgiveness to. It just shouldn't be something that other people dictate my pain, my feelings, okay? So I appreciate how she was like, no. Even as Shannon Sharpe, she held him accountable too. Look into that camera and invite Tyler and Oprah on here. Look into that camera and acknowledge what I just told you. And she didn't move on. She's like, no, we're gonna talk about this. And he did. You can tell in the beginning he was like, okay, am I really gonna do this? And then he did it. But this interview was really great. Not sure if it's gonna get the same acclaim as Katt Williams because people still see Monique as problematic. But let me know your thoughts. We can get into it. Your girl's gonna do a separate video on Tyler Perry being problematic. But if you haven't already, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!